How you all doing? Well, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a comparison video of the new released Final Cut camera app versus the Blackmagic camera app. I uploaded a video about my first impressions of the Final Cut camera app, but today I want to put this app against the Blackmagic camera app. I know that the Final Cut camera app is lacking in certain departments that I want you guys to be aware of, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. To be honest with you guys, if you're just using your smartphone for filming regular videos for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or any other social media handles, and all you have is just a smartphone like this, I think both apps can actually get the job done. And I'm going to tell you which app performs in what areas better than the other. So the first category is going to be the video format. The Blackmagic camera app allows you to shoot HEVC, which is your high efficiency video codec, Apple ProRes, and H.264. Whereas the Final Cut camera app only shoots HEVC. So in this case, I would go with the Blackmagic camera app because I have more options to choose from when it comes to choosing what video format to use. And again, not all video formats are user-friendly when it comes to editing softwares. Some operating systems find it very hard processing HEVC or Apple ProRes. For example, if I'm using a Windows laptop, then Apple ProRes I don't think would be a good idea for me to work with. It may be more tasking for my operating system. So H.264 may be my go-to. Now the next category is color space. Guys, you see when it comes to color spaces, the Final Cut camera app allows you to shoot in SDR, which is your standard dynamic range, HDR, which is the same as HLG, that is your high dynamic range, and also Apple log. Whereas the Blackmagic camera app allows you to shoot all those three categories, but there's also an extra category called the P3D65, whatever that means. If you guys know what the P3D65 means, let me know in the comment section. Guys, you see, Apple log color space is a very good color space, but that requires extra work in post-production. Especially if you're into color grading, then Apple log would be a very good format for you to capture your videos in. However, I don't think that if you're capturing regular videos for the internet, again, like I said, I don't see the need for you to shoot in Apple log. First of all, these Apple log files are ginormous, like they are big. In fact, you will need an external drive mounted to your phone to capture videos in Apple log because those files are big. So if you're capturing videos for the internet, just regular YouTube videos, Apple log is not the thing for you. It can also be cumbersome because you need to mount an external storage on your phone. It kind of becomes very difficult to vlog with a rigged out phone. In fact, you look weird. Everyone will be looking at you and like, what the heck is this guy doing with this phone? So just film in Rec 709 or Rec 2020, which is the same as the HDR or HLG color space, and you'll be good to go. Oh man, that tastes so good. I just talked to you guys about the color space. I think both apps perform the same. It's a tie on this one. This is actually so nice. You guys see this? We call it chapati. It originated from India when the Indians arrived at the East African coast. I don't know which year that is. I believe it was in the 1800s. That's how we came to eat chapatis nowadays. Away from the color space, now let's talk about the media, the video files captured by the Final Cut camera app and the Blackmagic camera app. After checking out the Final Cut camera app and capturing a few videos, I realized quickly that I do not have access to my media metadata. For example, in the Blackmagic camera app, you're able to see the videos you've captured and you're able to see the metadata that these videos actually have. For example, you're able to see the file size, the color space, the frame rate, the proxy resolution, the original video resolution, the ISO value, the white balance. All these information is captured in the Blackmagic camera app metadata. But when it comes to the Final Cut camera app, the video files do not have any metadata. Like, you can only see that metadata in the editing suite. You can't see much when it comes to reviewing the footage in the app itself. So I think the Blackmagic camera app is the better option in this case, because you're able to see how long the video is, how big the file size is, and it kind of gives you a guide to capturing your next shot. You're able to know if you made a mistake with a shot, then you can go back into the camera settings and rectify that problem and then shoot the next shot. I think Blackmagic is the winner here. So guys, talking about the next category, which is image stabilization. The Final Cut camera app has image stabilization. The Blackmagic camera app also has image stabilization. But the difference here is the Blackmagic camera app has the image stabilization function right in front of the user interface. It's not hidden away in the menu settings. For example, in the Final Cut camera app, if you need to turn on image stabilization, you have to go into the settings and then turn on image stabilization. The Blackmagic camera app has 3 options of image stabilization. It gives you the standard image stabilization, the cinematic, and also the extreme image stabilization. But the Final Cut camera app only gives you 1 image stabilization setting. I really find it bizarre that the image stabilization function was hidden away in the Final Cut camera app. For example, if you happen to film with image stabilization on and the scene you're actually filming does not need image stabilization, then there is no way of you accessing the image stabilization while filming. What you gotta do is to stop the recording, go into the settings, turn off image stabilization, come back, and then hit record. With the Blackmagic camera app, it's flawless. The image stabilization is right in the UI, right in your face. If you happen to turn it on by mistake, or if you don't need to have it on, you simply tap on the icon and you'll have image stabilization disabled and you're good to go. I think the Blackmagic camera app takes the cake on this one. Yo, you guys see this little messed up corner here? I was just trying to charge my audio recorders. This is my Comica Boom XD wireless microphone, and I was just putting them in this corner to charge. This is the little setup that I have. You guys are able to see this? This is my iPhone 12 Pro. I have it mounted on this Ulanzi mini tripod. That's how far it extends. And of course, I have the transmitter of the Comica, and we have the receiver mounted on top here, and I have all this connected using the 3.5mm TRS to TRRS audio cable, as you can see. Of course, I'm connecting it using this lightning cord adapter to my iPhone 12 Pro. And for audio monitoring, I have this Sennheiser 100IE Pro in-ear monitors. I want to show you guys something. Look. These things are massive, like they produce very good audio, but recently they are worn out. You see that little wire, this wire here? It's the one that is inside this cord and allows it to be bent in any direction or around the ear when you put it in ears. So the next subject I want to talk about is the audio monitoring. Like I've told you, I have connected everything to my handset here, and let's turn on the Blackmagic camera app. I'll put this on like that and turn on my transmitter. Check microphone 1 2 1 2. I can see it's capturing audio. That's awesome. So from what I can tell is there is latency on the Blackmagic camera app while filming with an external microphone connected to the app. So I'm going to turn on the Final Cut camera app and see how it performs. So now I have the Final Cut camera app turned on, and I must tell you there is a difference in latency. I'll just take off those earphones because they're kind of a little bit messing me up. I'm not so used to monitoring my audio using earphones while speaking to the camera at the same time, especially when there is the little lag, the little latency. It kind of messes me up with my speech. Both apps allow you to capture audio using an external microphone attached to your camera, but I must tell you that you need some accessories. Like I said, you'll need your lightning cable, and you also need a TRS to TRAS audio cable to be able to connect an external microphone to your phone, and then you can monitor your audio and capture audio using your Final Cut camera app or your Blackmagic camera app. Oops, I am seated on my in-ears. So I was testing the audio monitoring function on the Blackmagic camera app and on the Final Cut camera and on the Final Cut camera app. Why am I rushing my words? Okay, slow down. I must tell you, I'm a little bit impressed by how the Final Cut camera app actually has very little latency as compared to the Blackmagic camera app. Now, latency, for those who do not understand, is the time lag between when the sound is recorded and when you actually hear it. For example, when I speak right now, I'm able to hear myself right away. But when there is a delay in the time when I get to hear what I said, that is what they call latency. Have you guys been like in a stadium and there's like a concert happening and then you're hearing like an echo? It's kind of like an echo, like the sound takes longer to arrive to your ears. So that's kind of what they call latency. So with the Blackmagic camera app, the latency is not bad as such, but I think the Final Cut camera app has an edge. I'm able to hear what exactly the camera is capturing in real time. There may be like microseconds, if those even exist, like microseconds between when I speak and when I hear back the sound through my in-ears. So the Blackmagic camera app, not so good, but the Final Cut camera app, the better one. So guys, talking about the ISO, in this category, when you look at the ISO range of the Final Cut camera app, you're going to have an ISO that runs all the way from 64 to 2500. That is when you're using the 26mm lens. When you're using the 13mm and the 52mm on the iPhone 12 Pro, then you're going to have an ISO range that runs all the way from 64 to 2000. That is for the Final Cut camera app. As compared to the Blackmagic camera app that has an ISO value that runs all the way from 33 to 3000. That is on the 26mm lens. And for the 13 and the 52mm lens, you have an ISO that runs all the way from 24 to about 2000-ish. So I think when it comes to ISO range, they're relatively the same, but I think the Blackmagic camera app gives you that extra range. But also talking about the presets, the Blackmagic camera app has preset or predefined values of the ISO. You have ISO 100, ISO 200, ISO 400, ISO 500, I think 600, 800, like predefined values within, just like the way if you've used a Sony camera or any other professional digital cameras, when you look at the ISO values, they have those preset values in there that you just click on and have your ISO set ready to go. Also, when you look at the scale and you're trying to move the slider to select the ISO value that you need, on the Blackmagic camera app, you have like hepatic sounds, hepatic vibration whenever you're moving the slider, which is not available on the Final Cut camera app. So you simply just slide on the Final Cut camera app, you're just sliding, you're moving your slider, your ISO slider, and you're not sure whether it's actually clicking in or not. You do not have even the option to have it locked in. So if you happen to make a mistake while filming, then you may have ruined your shot and you'll have to do the shot again. And if you've missed the shot, forget about it. The Blackmagic camera app, you can lock in your ISO and you're good to go. So in this category, I think the Blackmagic camera app wins. So guys, talking about shutter speed, the Blackmagic camera app allows you to use shutter speed and shutter angle, whereas the Final Cut camera app only allows you to use the shutter speed. Now I must tell you that with the shutter angle, you're able to apply the 180-degree shutter rule. But with the Final Cut camera app, you're only left with the option of using shutter speed. When using shutter speed, you can still apply the 180-degree shutter angle, which of course is the industry standard, and that simply states that when you're using shutter speed, you have to shoot at double your frame rate. For example, if you're shooting at 24 frames per second, then your shutter speed is going to be 1/48 of a second. So you get your frames per second multiplied by 2 and then have 1 divided by 48, which gives you the 180-degree shutter rule. Also on top of that, you can also get some very creative shots when using shutter angle, which is something that you really can't do or may be a little bit difficult to achieve when using shutter speed. So concluding shutter speed, I think the Blackmagic camera app is the better option because you're able to shoot using either shutter speed or shutter angle, depending on what you're more conversant with. Most people prefer using shutter speed. So I think here, yeah, the Blackmagic camera app is the better option. Another thing I noticed with the Final Cut camera app is you do not have hepatic vibrations when trying to move your slider to attain the shutter speed that you really want to use, which is something that is very much available in the Blackmagic camera app. It's more reassuring when you're moving the slider to a shutter speed that you want to use and you're kind of feeling the vibrations going on as you're moving from one shutter speed to the next. It gives you this sense of, I am actually moving the slider. In other words, it's a very good interactive user interface as compared to the Final Cut camera app that does not provide that hepatic vibration, which I think is it's not a big deal, but yeah, it's good to have. So lastly, let's talk about exposure. With the Final Cut camera app, you have what they call the overexposure indicator that is inbuilt in the settings of the camera app, which I think for me should have been available in the user interface, not hidden away in the app settings. For example, if I wanted to access the overexposure indicator on the Blackmagic camera app, I simply have access to it because it is right in the UI. It's not hidden away in the settings. And with the Blackmagic camera app, you also have the option of using false color. Now, false color comes in handy, and it's actually used in the film industry by so many filmmakers, and even some YouTubers also use false color. But I must tell you that if you really want to expose for your skin tones and make sure that everything is well exposed and well lit, using false color will help you achieve the best exposure. It's like when you use advanced digital cameras such as the Sonys and the Canons and the Fujis of this world, where you have zebras or histograms. Now with the Blackmagic camera app, you have all that inbuilt in the app. I must tell you that with the Blackmagic camera app, you have the false color indicator, you have the zebras, and you also have histograms, which is something that is missing in the Final Cut camera app. Now, when you're using false color, you can easily nail your exposure right, especially if you understand how false color works. For example, if you have very bright areas within your frame or within your shot, those are mostly going to be in the yellow, orange, or sometimes red shade. And then if you have very dark areas within your shot or within your frame, those are mostly going to be in the blue and purple shade. When false color is turned on and you're trying to expose for skin tones, then you need to make sure that your skin tones are falling within the green and the gray shade. In that way, I would say that you're going to be nailing your exposure right when it comes to exposure. Some people prefer using false color, others prefer zebras, others prefer histograms. So whichever you want to use, I think for me, the Blackmagic camera app is your number one go-to. But the overexposure indicator in the Final Cut camera app shouldn't be underrated. It's also good, especially if you know what you're doing. And again, filming is all about light. If you know how to deal with light, then you always have a decent image. So in conclusion, having talked about the color spaces, the video formats, the ISO, the shutter speed, the false color, the exposure triangle, and all that kind of stuff, I think overall, the Blackmagic camera app is the king of smartphone filmmaking. I am not saying that the Final Cut camera app is underrated. I mean, it's a good app, but for most people that are just shooting everyday videos and you're just pulling out your phone out of your pocket and you want to capture a shot right away, I think the Final Cut camera app would be your go-to. So I throw it out there to you guys. I don't know what you think about both apps, but for me, the Blackmagic camera app is the real app that everyone should have. And now you know what? It's also available for Android. Unlike the Final Cut camera app, which is only available to iOS users, only people that own an iPhone. So the Blackmagic camera app is the real deal. As always, I love you guys. I want you to hit subscribe, share, and like the video so that it gets to more people out there. And lastly, don't forget to say hi to your mom. I love you guys, and I'm